One highway packs 318 curves into just 11 miles. Another cost over $2 billion to carve through 12 miles of canyon. A third sends traffic beneath the open ocean. Out of more than 4 million miles of American road, 15 highways became legendary for being too dangerous, too remote, too expensive, or too strange to believe. We're counting them all down, from the merely bizarre to the absolutely impossible. And our first entry is an interstate that breaks the most fundamental rule of what an interstate should even be. Number 15, Interstate 180 in Cheyenne, Wyoming, barely feels like an interstate at all. Stretching just over a mile, this urban spur is the only interstate in the contiguous United States where drivers must stop at traffic lights. 5 at-grade signals break up its short run, and the posted speed never exceeds 40 miles per hour. A far cry from the high-speed, access-controlled freeways that define the system. Opened in 1984, Interstate 180's official status comes from a regulatory loophole, not from any feat of engineering. Instead of wide-open lanes, drivers find a street-level route lined with local businesses and cross streets. The result is a bureaucratic oddity. An interstate in name, but a city road in spirit, set against the quiet backdrop of Wyoming's capital. Number 14, the $1 Million Highway slices through Colorado's San Juan Mountains with a reputation built on both beauty and fear. The name itself is a puzzle, tangled in legends. Some say it cost $1 million a mile to build. Others claim the roadbed holds $1 million worth of gold ore. What's not in doubt is the danger. Between Ouray and Silverton, US 550 clings to sheer cliffs, winding through mining country with breathtaking views, and no continuous guardrails to save a careless driver from a 1,000-foot drop. Otto Mears' original toll road set the route, but today's pavement feels more like a dare than a drive. For those willing to face the exposure, the payoff is a panorama of alpine peaks and mining ghosts, a rite of passage that turns every curve into a test of nerve. Number 13, the Overseas Highway looks like a mirage stretched across the Atlantic. This 106-mile route leaps from island to island in the Florida Keys, tracing the skeleton of Henry Flagler's doomed overseas railroad. After the catastrophic Labor Day hurricane of 1935 swept away the tracks and claimed hundreds of lives, engineers salvaged what remained and transformed the ruins into a highway. Today, drivers cross 42 bridges, including the legendary 7-Mile Bridge, with nothing but turquoise water on either side. The sensation is surreal, an endless ribbon of pavement hovering above the sea. Peaceful on a calm day, but haunted by the memory of storms and the bones of a lost railroad beneath the wheels. Number 12, the Blue Ridge Parkway transforms the very idea of a highway. Stretching 469 miles from Virginia to North Carolina, it was never built for speed. The maximum limit is just 45 miles per hour, forcing every traveler to slow down and absorb the landscape. Instead of racing from point A to point B, drivers wind through 26 tunnels and pass as many as 280 scenic overlooks, each one designed to frame a new view. Wildlife often steps onto the road, and in autumn, the entire parkway blazes with color, drawing crowds for the spectacle of changing leaves. Here, the journey itself becomes the destination, a moving overlook where every mile is a stage set for nature's drama. Number 11, the tail of the dragon cuts through the borderlands of Tennessee and North Carolina like a coiled serpent waiting to strike. In just 11 miles, this stretch of US 129 delivers a staggering 318 curves, each one sharp, relentless, and packed so tightly that the road feels more like a racetrack than a highway. Motorcyclists and sports car drivers travel from across the country to take on its challenge, treating the dragon as a rite of passage. The Tree of Shame, a roadside memorial hung with shattered bike parts, stands as a warning to those who underestimate the road's bite. Law enforcement is ever present, radar guns at the ready, but speed alone isn't the danger. It's the sheer concentration required to survive the endless barrage of blind turns. Despite the risk, or maybe because of it, drivers return again and again, chasing the thrill that only the Dragon can deliver. Number 7, the Dalton Highway pushes deep into Alaska's frozen wilderness, where the idea of a highway feels almost absurd. Built in the 1970s as a lifeline for the Trans-Alaska Pipeline, this 498-mile stretch is mostly gravel, battered by Arctic wind and ice. Only 4 fuel stops break the monotony, and drivers can face 150-mile gaps with nothing but tundra and sky. Truck convoys thunder north, hauling supplies to oil fields at Prudhoe Bay, while tourists cross the Arctic Circle at mile 115, a milestone that feels like stepping off the edge of the map. Temperatures plummet to minus 70 degrees Fahrenheit near Deadhorse, and storms can sweep away all sense of direction. Every trip demands careful planning, spare fuel, and a willingness to face hours of isolation. The Dalton is not just a road, it's a test of endurance, where the highway itself feels like the last thread connecting civilization to the ends of the earth. Number 8, Nevada's extraterrestrial highway turns empty desert into a stage for America's wildest conspiracy theories. In 1996, state officials gave Route 375 its out-of-this-world name, cementing its connection to the secretive boundaries of Area 51. The highway cuts through a landscape so stark and isolated, it's easy to believe anything could happen here, especially when the nearest town, Rachel, builds its entire economy on alien-themed motels and festivals. The Little Ayla Inn serves up UFO stories with the coffee, while the infamous Black Mailbox draws crowds hoping for a glimpse of something unexplainable in the sky. Rumors and legends thrive in the silence, fueled by declassified military secrets and a horizon that never seems to end. On this road, the line between fact and fiction blurs, and the desert itself becomes a canvas for the imagination. 8th place, Going to the Sun Road in Montana is a highway locked in a yearly struggle with the elements. Each spring, Glacier National Park's crews confront drifts that can tower over 80 feet in places, using heavy machinery to carve a path through up to 5 feet of dense snow that blocks the route. The effort is massive, sometimes taking more than 2 months just to make the road passable. Even after the plows finish, the drive itself is an exercise in nerve. Narrow lanes hug sheer cliffs. Waterfalls spill across the pavement, and alpine meadows stretch toward the sky. The window for travel is brief, often just from late June until early October, before winter slams the door shut again. Here, access is never guaranteed. Every season, the road's survival depends on a race against nature. A reminder that some highways aren't just built, they're earned anew, year after year. Number 7. Historic Route 66 proves that a highway story doesn't end when the pavement starts to crack. Once the main artery from Chicago to Los Angeles, Route 66 now winds through the heart of America's forgotten places. Ghost towns like Amboy and Oatman line the route, their empty diners and silent gas pumps frozen in time. Neon motel signs still flicker against the night, casting a glow over abandoned stretches where the road's heyday lingers like a ghost. As the interstate system pulled traffic away, Route 66 transformed. Decay became its calling card, and roadside Americana turned into living museum pieces. Travelers come not for speed, but to chase echoes of a lost era, where every faded billboard and boarded-up cafe tells a story of movement, hope, and sudden stillness. Here, the highway's afterlife is more mythic than its busiest years ever were. Number 6. Beartooth Highway climbs into a world where the rules of summer barely apply. This 68.3 mile stretch between Montana and Wyoming rises to 10,947 feet at Beartooth Pass, a height that feels more like the roof of the continent than a simple mountain crossing. The air gets thin, the horizon widens, and around 30 alpine lakes shimmer beside the pavement. But even in July, snow and wind can slam the door without warning. Crews have closed the road in the heart of summer, forced back by sudden blizzards. The operating season runs from mid-May to mid-October, but that window is always at the mercy of the weather. Drivers gamble with every trip, knowing that a blue sky can turn to whiteout in minutes. Here, the highway is less a route and more an invitation to test the edge of what's possible in the American West. Number 5. Interstate H3 on Oahu is where the countdown leaves the realm of the plausible and enters the territory of the impossible. Just 15.32 miles long, this highway cost a staggering $1.3 billion, making it the most expensive interstate per mile in the nation. Construction forced engineers to tunnel through the heart of the Ko'olau Range, carving out the 5,165-foot Tetsuo Harano Tunnel and the Hospital Rock Tunnel, then launching viaducts that float above tropical valleys. Every foot of pavement was a battle. Lawsuits, protests, and cultural outcry erupted as the route crossed sacred Hawaiian sites and threatened rare ecosystems. For decades, the highway was a symbol of controversy, a cursed road, some called it, as delays mounted and costs soared. Yet, when H3 finally opened in 1997, even critics had to admit the result was spectacular. The road soars above rainforest canopies, slicing through mist and mountain, a ribbon of concrete that seems to defy nature itself. Today, it carries nearly 19,000 vehicles a day, admired for its beauty as much as its audacity. H3 is proof that sometimes the strangest highways are the ones that shouldn't exist at all, yet do, etched across the landscape by sheer force of will. Number 4. US Route 50 in Nevada turns emptiness into an ordeal that feels almost mythical. The stretch between Ely and Austin is so barren, it earned the title the loneliest road in America, a nickname that functions as a warning, not a slogan. Drivers face about 80 miles between fuel stations, with the next outpost sometimes more than 100 miles away. The road follows part of the old Pony Express corridor, echoing a time when crossing this landscape meant risking your life for the mail. In summer, the desert radiates heat well above 100 degrees, while winter brings snowstorms that can shut down high passes for days. There are no crowds, no billboards, sometimes not even a cell signal, just a ribbon of asphalt threading through sagebrush and distant mountains. The psychological weight is real. Every mile without a town or a sign of life presses in, turning a drive into a test of resourcefulness and nerve. On Route 50, isolation isn't just a feature, it's the whole story. Coming to the top 3, the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel in Virginia bends reality with every mile. At 17.6 miles long, it stretches across the mouth of the Chesapeake Bay in a feat that still looks impossible. 12.5 miles ride on low-level trestles, but then the highway does something few expect. It vanishes under the water, plunging into 2 one-mile tunnels that let massive ships pass overhead. 4 artificial islands anchor the transitions between bridge and tunnel, engineered from concrete, steel, and rock, each one a man-made oasis in open water. The original construction in 1964 cost $200 million, and the American Society of Civil Engineers named it one of the 7 engineering wonders of the modern world. But the drive is more than numbers. It's a test of nerve. Fog rolls in without warning, turning the road into a ribbon suspended in gray. Hurricane winds and storms slam the causeways, sometimes closing the entire crossing for safety. Drivers speak of the disorienting moment when the horizon disappears, the world narrows, and the highway seems to dissolve into the sea, before re-emerging, as if by magic, on the far shore. The Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel isn't just a road, it's a disappearing act, a science fiction corridor built for the real world and one of the most surreal drives in America. Number 2. The Hana Highway on Maui twists the idea of a scenic drive into a marathon of nerves and patience. In just 52 miles, the road throws more than 600 sharp turns at drivers, each one demanding full attention as the pavement snakes through dense rainforest and along sheer drops. 56 bridges interrupt the rhythm, and 46 of them are single lane, forcing vehicles to yield and edge past each other, sometimes while waterfalls spill down the cliffs beside the road. On a clear day, the views are hypnotic: bamboo forests, plunging gorges, and a parade of hidden waterfalls. But beauty doesn't make the drive any easier. Heavy rain can trigger sudden landslides, closing the road for hours or even days, while mist and wet pavement turn every turn into a test of traction. Locals treat the highway as a lifeline, moving with quiet confidence and a deep respect for the road's tempo. Tourists, by contrast, often underestimate the challenge, expecting a quick trip, but finding themselves crawling along for 4 hours or more, exhausted by the endless curves and the pressure of oncoming traffic. The Hana Highway isn't just a route, it's an endurance course, where scenery and danger never let up, and every mile asks drivers to rethink what a highway can be. And finally, in first place, Interstate 70 through Glenwood Canyon, Colorado, is where engineering ambition meets the impossible. For 12 miles, the highway threads a narrow gorge carved by the Colorado River, boxed in by sheer cliffs and a railroad line with barely a sliver of land to spare. The usual rules of interstate design simply didn't apply here. There was no room for wide medians, sprawling interchanges, or even a single flat stretch. Instead, engineers stacked westbound and eastbound lanes on separate levels, curving viaducts and bridges around the river's bends, sometimes suspended above the water, sometimes pressed against stone. More than $2.2 billion were poured into this short segment, an astronomical sum driven by the need to fit a modern freeway into a canyon that barely tolerated a 2-lane road. Tunnels bore through rock and bridges leap across the river, all while sharing space with the Union Pacific Railroad. But the marvel comes with a price. Glenwood Canyon remains fragile, battered by rock slides and sudden weather shifts that can shut it down for days. Monitoring stations, real-time traffic controls, and emergency crews stand by, ready to respond when nature reclaims the corridor. No other highway in America so completely defies belief, combining raw natural drama with human ingenuity just to keep the road open. Glenwood Canyon is the ultimate "how is this even real" payoff. A place where the line between road and wilderness is drawn and redrawn every single day. Across all 15 highways, one truth emerges. America's roads are built to defy limits, not follow them. These routes aren't just transportation. They're living proof that geography, ambition, and human daring can collide in ways stranger than fiction. Every mile traveled is a new legend in the making. Which highway shocked you most? Drop your own strangest road story below, and don't forget to subscribe for more unbelievable journeys.